from Sports Media here. Today we are going to be going over the main event on the upcoming UFC card, UFC Fight Night Kansas City, Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen. And I know we're in for a banger. There's other great fights on that card, but I plan to do a little separate video for that. I kind of just wanted to headline the main event here because it's two of the some of the great strikers in the UFC, two of the great fighters in the UFC. I'm really excited for this, guys, and especially in a division where featherweight, where other than Volk, the top 5, top 10 is kind of wide open, and that I would say. If you look down below, I kind of have the statistics and whatnot, and we're going to go over them. And down below all the way, you'll see my personal odds. These are not like the bookies' odds or anything. These are what I think. I have Max Holloway's the -190. I have him a little bigger than what people are putting him at. And then I have Arnold Allen as a close underdog, +150. I still think it's a close fight. I think either of them have a chance of winning. But whether, let's get into Arnold Allen, right? Arnold Allen's 5'9", 145 pounds. Obviously, that's the featherweight division. Arnold is a striker. I put balance. I really didn't mean to put balance. I was kind of looking at it as he does have submissions wins before he can sub. But he's going to want to stand and bang. He's a striker. He's a striker, right? 19-1. The guy's pretty good, man. He is a good fighter, 19-1, and the undefeated in the UFC, which is just awesome. Good for him. He's the number 4 contender, so he is climbing the ranks here, right? Arnold Allen, obviously has some really big victories, even as of lately. Calvin Kattar, Dan Hooker, you have Sadiq Youssef, Nick Lentz, Gilbert Melendez, and I do have notes, guys, just so you know. Obviously the Kadar and the Hooker fight ending in TKO, which is awesome. That's pretty cool. He also submitted Mads Burnell, which is also pretty nice, right? But he is a finisher, guys. He does get finishes, but he also gets a lot of submissions, or I'm sorry, a lot of decisions, right? He has 7 by knockout, 4 by submission, 8 by decision. So, he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter, and he definitely has some ways of victory. He's on a 12 win streak in total, 10 in the UFC. Only 6 of his wins are by decision in the UFC, and 2 by knockout. The guy's good. The guy's good, right? Takedown accuracy for Arnold is about 50%. Takedown average is about 1.35 per 15 minutes. So he's not the biggest takedown guy, but he will take you down. But he wants a stand and bang as well. And how I can see this fight kind of playing out, guys, is Max Holloway and him just going, yo, get in the center of this. Let's go. Let's stand and bang. Let's get this shit done, right? Arnold obviously is not as tall, but he is going to have the reach advantage by about an inch, which is pretty funny. So he has long arms, right? He has long arms. He's fighting out of England. Keys to victory for Arnold Allen is kind of what I wanted to move towards. Good movement. And the reason I say that, I kind of prefaced it by next saying, avoid being cut off. Don't allow Max Holloway to cut the cage off from you, pin you down, get you in positions where he's easily going to slip the jab through your guard. Be movement, be fluid, move around, control the center as much as you possibly can. And you definitely want to, when you're looking at Max, you definitely want to learn to kind of like counter strike with him, because he's going to throw shit ton of volume at you. That's what we know about Max. That's what he does. He throws a lot of volume at you. But if you can kind of minimize how much volume he's throwing at you by counter striking him, it gives you a chance to kind of coordinate your shots and calculate how you're going to do your attack, right? So you do want to try to counter strike as much as you can. With Max, you want to look at capitalize off of any mistake. When it comes to striking, Max doesn't make too many mistakes. So you definitely want to capitalize off of that. If there's a Okay, so if say Max were to mess up or throw a strike that doesn't land and it's a big miss or some sort, if you can kind of take any kind of back position, get a submission in there or anything, man, you gotta capitalize off these mistakes with Max Holloway. We know how dangerous he is. We know how good he is. And Max Holloway will try to increase the volume as the fight goes. We always seen it with him. So you got to look to grapple at times. Even if you don't really want to grapple, you got to try to slow Max Holloway down as you can. That's going to be the best thing you could do for Arnold Allen. Again, I have him as the +150 as the underdog. Next, we have our guy in the red corner. We have Max Holloway, the beloved striker in the UFC. Everyone loves this guy. I love this guy. 5'11", 145 pounds, featherweight division. He is a striker, and we all know this. This motherfucker can box, man. 23-7. Having his losses were to, like, 3 of them were to Volk, Dustin Poirier twice, Conor McGregor. So, you know what I mean? The guy definitely has some losses, but he only has losses against really good fighters. He's the number 2 contender, as he should. The guy's still very, very good. His path 5, you know, he's coming off a loss to Alexander Volk where he did get dominated, and that was his third loss to Alexander Volkanovski, unfortunately, which really sucks. Volk kind of has his number. But it was a really one lopsided. Volk was just way more efficient and really pieced up Max Holloway. You know, he is coming off another win right below is on the Yair Rodriguez, who's going to be fighting for the belt, who is the interim champion. So you know he is coming off of the loss, but then he also has the Yair Rodriguez and then the Calvin Kadar, and both of them are wins. Decision. He does go to decision a decent amount. You know, so there you go. Keys to victory, I kind of said for him, I said apply a lot of volume to Arnold Allen. Apply, overwhelm him, put him next to the cage like we've seen it. Cut the cage, stay close, apply your volume like you always do. Strike your heart out. You want to avoid punishment as much as you can. We all know that he absorbs so many strikes. I think he probably has absorbed the most amount of significant strikes in history, but he's also landed the most in history. So it'd be good for Max to see if he could, you know, this guy's a young buck, right? This guy can hit hard. We know this. We know he's only 29 years old. He can hit hard. You know, Max has obviously been through a lot of torture. So if you can just limit it how much he's getting in your chin, you'll do great. If you can, you know, I had to come on another one. Counter strike. Avoid a takedown from Allen. You kind of want to counter strike. Allen can be a little bit with his overhands and his hooks a little bit overextended, so you do want to counter strike on top of that and control the center like you always do. I have him as the -190 favorite. Should be a great fight, guys, and I'm super excited. Let me know your guys' predictions down below. But as always, guys, have a good one.